Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Onigiri & Co podcast. We are on video, we are on audio now. You can find us on YouTube. And today I am with my good friend and FPV pilot, Sam, aka Jazz FPV. Hello!
Hi everyone.
How are you?
Yeah, good.
Are you on Monster? You showed me the Monster can earlier.
Yeah. Something to pick me up in the morning.
Yeah,
the joy of being a dad.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm sorry I was complaining about being tired.
No, it's all right. It's not a competition.
But yours is definitely... Okay, it's not a competition. I'm on coffee as well. Let me get a sip and then we'll introduce you. Well, actually, you know what? While you introduce yourself to the audience,
Yep.
I'll take my sip of coffee, but maybe, yeah, you can tell us who you are, FPV-wise, not FPV-wise, whatever you feel like sharing.
Yeah, no worries. Look, FPV-wise, I've been flying since the start of 2019. Started with a very basic sort of, like a lot of people did, a Martian frame, so, which is a clone of the Alien.
Mm-hmm.
Bad boy.
I think we all had it.
Yeah, I think everyone started that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like an all-in-one board before they were popular, so it was like a race star or whatever the brand is, all-in-one. Yeah, so that was what I started on, very shaky. And but yeah, started with 5-inch. I didn't go to... I didn't do the tiny whoop thing like everyone did. I sort of did about 10 hours in the sim, so I could turn properly.
Yes.
And then just went to a nice field and started flying from there. Outside of FPV, I do a bit of photography stuff. And programmer by trade, and that's pretty much me.
Yeah, and the fun fact I wanted to talk about is how I found you on Instagram, because I assume you had your account Jazz FPV and you were following me with this account, and then I believe it got hacked. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that was my own fault.
Oh no!
It got well, sort of. I fell for a phishing scam, but it was a very good one. But it got hacked. But I managed to get the hackers off it, but I didn't manage to get back into the account because they put 2-factor authentication on it, and then I couldn't remove it. So,
oh no!
Yeah, so hence on Instagram, JazzFPV2.
and the reason I noticed you is because I think in the meantime, when you lost that account, you were following me with your photography account.
Yes, I was following you with both.
Yeah, and I think you liked a post, and I saw it because your profile picture on that account is a model, yeah? Well,
yes.
I think it was a different one at the time. You might have
different to what it is now, yeah.
Yeah, but it was like, who's this hot chick that's liking my post? Because, in FPV, it's mainly males, and I'm like, who is this new chick? And then I click, and I see Sam Dickinson. I'm like, oh, no, he's the photographer. Okay.
Yeah, but then I got a lovely message from you. I think we'd done a couple of little messages on the FPV account, but then I wasn't able to talk to you on the other one. But yeah, we had a lovely bit of a chat there, and you were telling me how much you love my photography, which was... Yeah.
It was... We bonded over photography, and then I realized you were only a 30 minutes drive from me, and we were like, let's fly. And it was an adventure to start the first time, because I was sick. It was springtime.
Yeah, I think we cancelled like 3 or 4 times.
I know.
We both were busy, or you were sick, or I was sick, or busy with my daughter, or...
Yes. But it was worth it. It was really good to finally meet you eventually. And now, you are the person for the audience who's following all the podcasts that I kept mentioning. And I said, I found this person and we're going to this awesome spot. That's Sam.
Yes.
So, well, I guess I have a couple of questions still about how you started FPV and everything.
Yeah, sure.
So you said you started with a 5-inch. Is that because you thought, look, it's the most general thing that people fly in this hobby, so I just want to start with that? Or
it was a bit of that. So I'll go even further back. I remember Sharpoo was on a channel on YouTube I used to watch called Tested, which is Adam Savage's channel. And he was introducing drones. And I just remember looking at it going, that is so cool. I was already interested in drones. I'd never flown one. I'm like, that is so cool. And then I sort of did a bit of looking into it, and I'm like, oh, that's not even stupidly expensive. So yeah, that sort of got me interested, and then it sort of bubbled away for a couple of years. Then I got a nice bonus from work and bought a DJI Spark.
Oh, yeah.
So just a little one, and that was fun. But there's only so much you can do with those. And then I'm like, well, yeah, let's build one. And I had a friend at work who he wasn't flying FPV, but he had built his own for line of sight.
Okay.
And he'd built a 5-inch as well. And I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of, doing my research, that kind of looked like the standard. I didn't really know about tiny whoops at the time. So yeah, I just built that. I stumbled across a tutorial on rotor builds.
Oh yeah.
It was called the Wizard Killer, and it was pretty much that I built, just with a few tweaks here and there. Yeah, but and then the rest is history.
Did you have any experience in electronics and boards?
Oh yeah. I've always tinkered, right from when I was a kid. So I could do basic soldering, although it has improved quite a lot since. Like I already had a temperature controlled soldering iron and all of that. So like I had all of that sort of equipment, and I had side cutters and everything to build a drone. I just hadn't actually done it. So I've always been a tinkerer. I've been into computers and electronics and all of that stuff forever.
And with your background of programming, how quick did it get you to start fiddling with Betaflight black boxes and things like that? Were you intrigued, or did you wait a bit?
I've always been intrigued, but I've never actually done it.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't do much tuning.
Okay.
I throw Betaflight on there. I throw on a preset. I might tweak the filters a little bit, like just reduce them.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I do.
Yeah. Apparently Betaflight is really good now, and we're going to talk about it a bit later because you really know it well, and I wanted to talk about GPS with you because that's something that you have done a bit last year and this year, and I was like, no, don't tell me, I want to talk about it on the podcast. So we'll talk about that maybe towards the end.
That's fine.
But that's I feel like 2019 it was a good time to start the hobby.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So what was your main struggle, if any, or plural struggles?
Not crashing. I crashed a lot early on, broke a lot of things. It seemed like every time I went out, it would end up on my desk. But I'm just like, that's part of it. If you're not crashing, you're not flying hard enough.
That's true. Yeah. Yes.
So look, it's all part of it. But I'm just trying to think, what was the hardest? Well, still one of the hardest things to do is just hovering.
Yeah.
Like moving forward is so much easier than hovering. That whole throttle control and learning how the drone sort of slips through the air, like when you're going sideways or whatever. It took a bit to get used to that because, you turn and you're still sort of sliding sideways a little bit. So just getting used to all of that, I think, was the hardest thing. Spatial awareness as well, which still I almost fly backwards into trees, but,
Everybody does. And so how did you go from 5-inch? Because I know you have a quite... diverse fleet now. So what were the steps for you to be like, okay, now I want to fly this and that, and how did you go from one to many drones?
Well, look, to be honest, I'm the sort of person that when I get into a hobby, I jump in with both feet. So it's like I want to try all the things. It was the same with when I started photography. I wanted to get all the lenses, I wanted to get all the lighting equipment, all of that stuff. But look, I think it was just like a matter of, hey, I really like this. Let's see how different things fly. They've all got their pluses and minuses. Some I fly more than others. But look, I do enjoy having a diverse fleet, and it's like, let's fly this today, or let's fly that today, or change props and try out different props. One of the big changes on that first 5-inch was when I went from the Dell prop, that everyone was using, the 3x4, 3x4, yeah, whatever, yeah. Yeah, like everyone seemed to be flying that, and I moved to the Johnny props, the Azure Johnny props, and I just felt like I was a lot smoother with those, and then that sort of sent me down a bit of a rabbit hole of trying all different sorts of props.
Yes.
So yeah, I've pretty much settled on the Raspberry props now on my 5 inches. Love them. But look, I still try different props. I'm always happy to try something else. You know, I went through the Gemfan 41533s and the I fly HQ props on one of my larger quads, and I've got a 3-inch there that I fly tiny little props on, which are Gemfans. So yeah, I just jump around.
Yeah. Speaking of props, Warren Fisher, Ken Worthit gave us a big box of props. Yep. Have you tried any new ones that you?
No, I haven't yet. I've been meaning to. I want to try the what is it? The J props, whatever they are, the J41 or whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah. Want to give them a go. But I jump back on what I know. And, there was some Raspberries in that box as well. So, yeah.
Do you think the Raspberries, like, it was a bit different with these ones? The first time you flew them, you were like, oh, I think I found my props? Or
yes and no. I tried the peanut butter jelly props. Yeah. And because I fly a pretty heavy quad, especially when I had the GoPro on it, I just found they were a bit lacking because the quad was so heavy. So I ended up flying the candy canes on that quad and the peanut butter jelly on a quad that I had a lighter camera on. Yeah. And that was good. But then when the Raspberries come out, I was like, oh, let's try them. You know, like they're right in between those two, and it turned out they worked really well on both those quads. Yeah. So it's like, well, then I just need to buy one set of props. It's a whole lot cheaper.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a good compromise.
Yeah, exactly. They're right in between, and I actually really do like how they fly. On that heavy quad, they're not actually that much worse than the candy canes, and I get better battery life. So I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And on the other one, it just makes it super fast.
Yes. So you built your first 5-inch, and I forgot, what was your second one that you did? Was that a second 5-inch or?
Oh, yeah. The second one was another 5-inch. I went for a premium frame that time. So I went for a Marmot, which I still fly now. That's still my primary 5-inch. Yeah. And then from there, I'm like, okay, let's branch out from there a bit. So I got what was it? What was the next one? I got an Explorer LR4. So a 4-inch long range, which was so much fun. Yeah. Long range is like seat of your pants sort of thing. But I actually ended up losing that particular one. No. Yeah, like I tweaked it too much, and I put a GPS with a compass in it, and I didn't calibrate the compass. And then when it was trying to return to home when I lost signal, the compass disagreed with the GPS, and it's like, okay, something's going wrong. I'm disarming, so it ended up in a farm field somewhere. Whoops!
Someone got a free drone.
Someone got a free drone, or it got run over by a tractor.
I know. That's probably what happened.
Probably what happened. But, so I ended up getting the LR4 Pro from there. And I didn't end up putting a compass in that one.
I wonder why.
Yeah. So I tend to avoid enabling the compass now. Because, look, at the end of the day, it's not needed. Not unless you're using iFlight. Sorry, not iFlight. iNav.
Okay. I know nothing, like so you can tell me.
Yeah, look, iNav supports like mission waypoints and so on. But to be honest, I'm not really into that. I've got my Spark if I want to. Well, that doesn't do missions either. But like if I want automated flight, that's what I'd go for. But I like flying. Yeah. I like actually flying it. Having that connection. Yeah. If I was flying a wing or a plane or something, then I might go with something like that. But it's not needed. Yeah. But I've tweaked that quite a bit. I put originally a Caddx Turtle camera actually, was that in the previous one? Maybe that was the previous one. That's right. And then I had a run cam, whatever run cam equivalent was.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's got a run cam split.
Yeah.
Thank you, Noelle.
No worries.
Yeah, but I actually had to 3D print a new front end for it to fit because it was just slightly too tall. But yeah, that's what I'm flying now, but it's recording lovely 4K. And it's nice and light. But that's good fun. Like long range is seat of your pants because you might lose your quad.
Yeah.
Well, but then again, I haven't really done long range. According to Bot Grinder, long range starts at 4Ks. But yeah, I've flown it out to 2.6. And that's when it started getting a bit sketchy.
Yeah.
Turn around, come back from there, but it's been really solid, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it.
I think, yeah, when I flew with you, I think we took it out to about 1.5 Ks or something. And you were nervous with that.
I was. Oh, I don't have the nerves for long range. That's why I don't do it. But because I saw how you set up yours, and on your OSD you have the little arrow, that's turning.
The return to home arrow. Yeah.
Yeah. So already this makes me feel a bit better. I've seen people fly long range without any feedback. I mean, just the battery but the little arrow at the top or bottom, I forgot where it is, but it's very convenient.
Oh yeah, for sure, and yeah, like even on my freestyle ones, it's convenient when I forget where I am.
Yeah, I should put that on because I can forget where I am 100 meters away from me. So
I know exactly, especially when you end up a tree.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Which tree?
Yeah. But yeah, look, and after I got that LR4, a friend of mine, he never flew his 3-inch, so he's like, "Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, $20." I'm like,
"Oh wow,
sweet,
deal.
$20 drone."
That's awesome.
Thanks, Jeff. So yeah, I got that one. So I got a few drones really quick. I also got a Tiny Hawk S around about that time, or maybe even a bit before. Maybe I got that before the 4-inch. Can't remember. Something like that. And to be honest, I haven't flown the Tiny Hawk S a whole lot. Like it is fun. It's fun, but I don't know, just with the dogs, they don't like the drones flying around inside. And the Tiny Hawk S is a little bit louder than a normal Tiny Whip. So yeah, it doesn't get a lot of flight. So yeah, look, to be honest, I should sell it or give it away or whatever, but it hangs on my wall.
Maybe for your daughter later.
Maybe. And then from there, I got a I'm a God remix clone. Because I wanted to buy the remix. I really did, but nowhere in Australia was selling it. They were all sold out, and shipping from the US is ridiculous. So yeah, I ended up getting the clone just because I wanted to try out see how the sort of upside down frame flew.
Yes,
because the prop line is more in line with the center of gravity. And yeah, it's good, but with my skills, I don't really notice too much difference.
Okay.
If I was a good pilot, then yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But look, to be honest, I've made it up to God since. He did the video series on the 250, and I built a 250 a couple of years ago. Well, just after it came out for my birthday.
Nice.
Got all the parts. Built a 250. I actually even put a video up on my YouTube channel of me building it just with my hands.
Nice.
Just a sort of what was it, a time lapse?
Yeah, I like them. They're cool. And they're satisfying to watch.
Yeah, and they're not too long as well. So I think I cut it down to like about 3 minutes or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, I've had a lot of my friends say, "Oh, that's so cool," watching me build.
Yeah.
So yeah, I built the 250. Unfortunately, I got the original Aerolite motors that came out with that, and there's a problem with them that the bells come disconnected from the shaft after a few crashes. And like they've fixed it, I believe, but no one is stocking those motors in Australia with the fixed version. So, like, I think I went through like I bought spares and everything. I think I ended up buying everything that Phaser FPV had. I think they've got in like 2 sets, so 8 motors. I think I stuffed them up because when I first bought it, I bought 5, so I'd have a spare. And obviously, they're not going to be able to sell 3. So I think I ended up buying those other 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, all the bells. Well, not all the bells have come off. It's usually the front bells that come off for me.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I've only got 2 that the bells haven't come off now. They're fixable. You know, I'd put them in, you know, and with a punch, you know, just punch it back through, but it'll always end up loosening up and coming off again. So I haven't actually flown that drone since our first time we flew together.
Oh, okay.
Which was, what, about a year? 6 months ago. Yeah.
6
Start
months
of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or late last year. That's what it was. Yeah. So I haven't flown it since then. And look, I haven't been able to justify spending the couple of $100 getting the motors and then getting them posted out and all of that. So yeah, look, I really want to rebuild it because that is a really fun quad to fly. Just it's so light. Mine's not 250. Mine's more like 300. By the time, like, I'm not running the GNB batteries on it because you've only just been able to get those now. You haven't been able to get them here in Australia.
Yeah.
And I also run an Insta360 Go on that. So yeah, by the time you put both of those on there, it comes in at about 300 grams.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it's so much fun to fly.
Yeah. How often, I know you have more drones to talk about, but I have a quick question.
Yep.
How often did you find as an Australian pilot that you couldn't exactly get what you wanted? Has it happened a lot to you? Or
In particular buying the Amagod stuff.
Yeah.
Because look, I love his frames, I love his work and everything, but it's just really hard to get here. Yes, you know, if you know Phaser get it in or not, it doesn't seem like anyone else gets them in. And the shipping is just so expensive. And unfortunately, like, I've spoken to Kevin, one of the guys. Yeah, just on Facebook, and he's just like, unfortunately, they can't do anything about it. So, you know, I'm just like, oh, come out and bring a whole heap with you, and I'll buy them off you.
Yeah, it's just, it's hard. Like, I would really like to try the Demi-Bot, you know, by Bot Grinder.
Yes.
Just because.
Because Bot Grinders.
Yeah, exactly. But I have a feeling it would be the same kind of problems, and that's why I was asking.
Yeah, I think so.
And then if you break apart, you know, you can always have spares, but yeah. That's
the real issue, though, is, you break apart, and then when you run out of spares, what do, you know?
Yeah, like, you cry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes. Yeah, that's the downside of living in Australia. The good side is that we can fly in lots of places.
Yeah. Not so much bandos, though. But,
yeah, that's true.
You know, yeah. And not the big mountains. Like, I'd love to do some of the mountain surfing that you see there, you know, flying down there. It looks so good, but there's nothing here. You know, we've got Mount Macedon near us, which isn't that big, but you know, it doesn't have all the nice cliff faces and all of that. So.
Yeah, it's more like soft mountains, or it's not really harsh. However, if you were going in, it's not allowed, but we have beautiful national park like in WA. I'm thinking of I forgot the name of it. Karinjini, I think it's called. And it's like a gorge because there was a river before. I mean, there's still a river. And that flying a drone there would be awesome, but I guess you would have to ask permission.
Yeah. My parents have gone on holiday there and they've shown me photos. And the first thing I say to them is like, I'd love to fly a drone there.
Yeah. It would be perfect. And you would hear the sound because it would, you know, it would just be amplified by the cliffs on both sides, and you could follow the water in the middle. It would be gorgeous.
Yeah, look, it would probably upset a lot of people, but for us, that's the sound of happiness.
That's why. Yeah, that's true. That's why we would have to ask for permission. But the colors, for people who don't really know where this is, it's just beautiful. It's orange, bright orange, like Australia orange. That's how almost red. And the water is blue, and then you have the trees that have this very nice dark green colors, or just and they're very rough trees. Like, they look really, really Australian. It just looks beautiful. Much. So
all the gum trees and everything.
Yes. So anyway, maybe one day. Maybe you take the rest of your fleet there, the little one, like I assume you were going to talk about that we barely notice.
Yep. It's a good idea. I guess you want me to go through the rest of my fleets?
Yeah, if you want, talk about the little ones. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I've only got 2 others. One of them you gave me. So I've got the 7-inch, which is probably my favourite at the moment.
Yeah.
It's a 7-inch Apex. I've got a Mamba stack in it, which is the V4 stack or whatever, and I've actually been really impressed with it. Building it was a dream. It's got nice big solder pads and everything. So one of my favourite stacks I've actually.
It's a good one.
So So that was a 7-inch Apex. I got it just before the 7-inch LR Apex came out.
Yeah.
Which I probably would have gone, but to be honest, I actually really like this one. It's a freestyle 7-inch, and
yes,
look, I wouldn't fly it in bandos, but God, it's so much fun in a park.
Yeah, it is.
7-inch is just so floaty.
Yeah.
You do the trick where you can flip upside down and then flick back or whatever, and you get so much more hang time with it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, because I thought it would be the opposite with the big props. I thought it would pull me down, but
yeah,
it's so much fun to fly.
Yeah, it's great to watch.
And I have broken it and rebuilt it since.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's now an Evo. Because unfortunately, it seems like Impulse RC stopped selling their standard, and they've just gone with the Evo now, which makes sense for them. But I cracked one of the bottom plates. So it's got the original arms still. I haven't broken an arm on it, but I cracked one of the bottom plates.
Yes.
Which I'll actually go into a bit later, because that is related to the GPS stuff.
Oh, okay.
I've upgraded it to an Evo, which is good because it meant I could fit the larger VTX in the back. Because previously I was running just a Immersion RC Tramp.
Yeah.
Which that's a nice small one, but it's only 600 milliwatts, I think. So I've now got the TBS stack in there, like the 1000 or 1 watt stack. Which originally I wanted to put in it, but it was about 1 or 2 mil too short in the back there. So the new one's just slightly longer and it fits nicely.
Cool.
In there. I've got that, even though 600 to 1 watt, it's not a huge difference, but it's more modern. I just prefer it.
It's future proof, and at the park where we fly together, there's a bit of interference from something,
I don't know what it is. That. Just one of the corners. I don't know, it's weird. Although I don't notice it with that new VTX.
Exactly.
It's a lot less.
Yes.
So, you can just punch through whatever that interference is.
Yeah, exactly. You get a cleaner signal. You said it's not much, but sometimes it's enough to clean your feed, and then you're not worried.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And then, the latest one is the what is it, newbie drone V3, whatever it is. Which I actually end up flying most nights because my daughter loves it. She loves me flying between her legs, and everything. When I run into her, she finds it hilarious. It's so small, and it just bumps into her. And look, for everyone that doesn't know, my daughter is 3. But she loves Daddy's little drone, and she finally saw the 7-inch a couple of weeks ago flying, and she was a bit scared until she realised it was Daddy's drone, and then she loved it.
And she made something really cute with your partner of paper. What was it?
A paper drone, and we did a bigger one with paddle pop sticks. She runs around the house making drone noises with that, which is so cute.
So cute. She wants to be like you.
Yeah, she does. She's even plugging in the batteries on that little tiny one.
That's so cute.
A proud dad, she's plugged in her first drone battery.
So have you been able to fly a drone and make her wear the goggles, or is she too young for it, you think?
Not while I'm flying, but I do put the replay on the goggles for her.
Nice.
And she loves that. So I might have to dig out my old goggles, because I started with some Omway Commanders, and now I've got the HDOs. Which I bought secondhand for a ridiculously cheap price.
You get the best deals. A drone
yeah,
for $20.
Yeah, well, someone decided they were flying pure digital, so I'm like, okay, sweet, I'll buy your goggles off you.
Yeah, they're good too.
Yeah, they're really good. You know, they're not the HDO2s, but
yeah,
it's still a definite upgrade from the on-way commanders that I was flying.
Yeah.
But so I might have to dig them out. So she can actually watch. I've got a tiny little screen. It's very similar to the Ethics screen.
Yeah,
and my daughter loves watching that as I fly around. Yeah, she runs around with it.
So if she was ever going to want to fly, like maybe in 2-3 years, I don't know how old kids can be. I've seen a kid. He had just turned 6 in the Northern Territory where I lived, and he was like, same. He was like, it was he was looking at my ex-partner's drones, and he was like, oh my God. And we had a newbie drone, one of the first ones, and we're like, if you want, you can fly this. And he was so good at it. He was just, he picked it up. And so he started line of sight, and then he was borrowing my ex-partner's goggles. It was so cute on the big goggles on the little head. And he was doing okay. Like I said, I think he was 6 or 7. So maybe it's not that far away.
It could be 16 and it's not that far away.
That's true. Yes. But yeah, so if you ever have to teach her, what do you think what steps do you think you're going to follow?
Look, to be honest, I'd start her with a tiny whip, because that way she can't hurt herself, she can't hurt anything else, and she can fly it inside. You know, like there's some big things. She's not going to have to deal with wind and get frustrated from that. I'll just start her inside on a tiny whip, and then just see how she goes from there. If she's into it, if she's not, that's fine too.
Yeah, totally.
At the moment, she loves it. She loves putting the goggles on. She loves holding the controller. I have to tell her, don't switch it on because I change all my settings.
Oh, that's so sweet. Do you think the controller, because your controller is a bit big, it must be enormous.
I've got one of the old X9Ds. So it's huge, and she can sit there with it on her lap, and she loves, twiddling the joysticks and stuff. So, but look, if she wanted to get in it, I'd get her something more size appropriate for her.
That she can lift as well. And you made your partner fly too, the tiny whoop.
Yes, she's flown it a few times. Just line of sight, and I've offered the goggles, but she wears glasses, and they sort of struggle to fit in the goggles and everything. But she's had a bit of fun with it. I've got to get her to fly it a bit more.
That's good. No, it's good to at least try. And I feel like now with drones and tiny whoops, for example, you can fly in your home. Like the previous generations, when they had their RC wings or planes, if you want to bring your friends or partners or family into it, you have to take them to the field. And it was a lot harder to share what we can do. Now we have tiny whoops and simulators, and so I feel like it's a lot more accessible for family and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's so cool though. I'm really happy, and I know you don't have expectations for your daughter, but I have expectations.
Well, she loves you.
That's good.
She's always talking about Noelle, and she loves. You've got a video on your Instagram of you singing away, and your dogs come into it, and she's like, "Oh, I want to watch Noelle singing." Like, okay, I think we've watched it probably a dozen times now.
That's good. She liked the dogs when
she loves
visit,
the dogs.
We will do a proper meet with the dogs in a park one day when the dogs can have the energy out a bit, and then maybe they will be less likely to be crazy when you arrive or something like that. So.
She doesn't mind. She had a little puppy jumping up on her yesterday at the vet. I had to pick up some tablets for my one of my dogs. And, she's like, "Oh, yeah, I've got to come. So I took her in, and there was a little puppy jumping up on her, and she was loving it.
Yeah, my small dog wouldn't be a problem. She's only 5 kilos, but the medium one is 15 kilos, and I'm like, it's maybe even more than your daughter. So
Just slightly more.
Slightly more. So but that's so cool, and it's really good that she got to see the 7-inch, because I know you had told me she was intrigued by it when it was on the bench, and she wanted to see it, and also the paper thing, and the shape of drone that you sent me was so cute. So way to go.
Yeah. She just loves running around the house making drone noises. I've even had her holding a prop in each hand, running around pretending to be a drone.
Anything to make them a bit tired before nap time, and that probably works. Well, I guess. So we've talked about all your fleet, which seems like it was heaps, isn't it?
Yeah, it's heaps. It's probably too many, but I subscribe to the theory of the correct number of drones to own is one more than you currently own.
Okay, that's a good one. Do you so the 7-inch you said is probably one of your favorite at the moment?
Definitely at the moment.
Yeah.
But look, to be honest, I'm definitely eyeing off getting a toothpick at some stage. Something small and light, especially after the experience with the 250. That really light sort of flick it around, not too noisy. There's definitely something to be said about that. Also being able to fly in a smaller space.
Yes.
Like my parents have about an acre land, but there's a lot of trees. I can fly the 5-inch around there, but I got to fly very slowly. So I'm just wondering if a toothpick would be the way to go. The 3-inch is pretty good, but it's still that 3-inch. It's the old schizo frame, so it's still a little heavy. So I'm thinking something light could be a lot of fun around in their yard.
Yeah. What do you think of? What do you think you would put in it in terms of camera? Do you think it would be? Do you have an idea, or would it come already built? What do you think?
No, I'd build it. Yeah. I like building. I know it probably makes more sense to buy bind and flies these days. Because you've got everything all in one. It's probably cheaper to buy it that way. But part of me for me, part of the hobby is building. I love building. Choosing your parts, soldering it up, plugging it in, seeing if there's any smoke coming out. Hopefully
That's
not.
Me.
Which actually the first one I built, smoke did come out.
Oh no!
I put a 5-volt VTX on the battery.
Oh yeah.
I know better. It was my own stupid mistake. It is what it is.
And the thing is, even if you check it with the what is it called? I never know.
Smoke stopper.
Not even the smoke stopper. The thing that
multimeter.
It doesn't show you that it's wrong. That's why it's easy to make that mistake as well. Yeah. I've done it too. So
that was because I was following the guide but bought a different VTX, and I was just blindly following it, not thinking about it. And as soon as it happened, I'm like, I knew exactly what had happened. I knew my mistake, and from the very second it happened, I'm like, oh, whoops. Okay, now I got to wait another 3 weeks for delivery from Banggood.
Because Australia.
Yeah.
I have another question for you, still on equipment. As you're aware, because I forgot to say you listen to all the podcast episodes, so thank you. But as you are aware, I just finished my series about the HD systems. Have you ever considered switching? Because I'm thinking with a fleet like yours, it starts being a lot of changes, and you can't update all of them.
To be honest, I wouldn't update them all. I'd get a system that I could plug an external analog into, or I'd keep my old goggles or something like that. But look, have I considered it? Of course, I think everyone considers it at some stage. Does look good. I have a few issues with it. There's obviously the ethical issues with DJI, as you spoke about with Bot Grinder. They're a little bit shady, but that's that. But my biggest issue is we've got that fragmentation at the moment. So what was great with analog is you could fly with your friends and you could just tune in and watch anyone fly.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that anymore. You got half the people on DJI, you got a couple on HD0, maybe a couple on Walk Snail,
Yeah.
and then the rest on analog. You can watch the analog ones, but
Mm-hmm.
you can't watch your friends fly as much anymore.
Yeah.
So it sort of created the fragmentation in the community.
Mm.
That's my biggest issue with HD.
Mm-hmm.
If I was going to go with a system, I'd probably go HD0 because they've got the 90 FPS camera, so they're extremely low latency.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the way they engage with the community. And just everything, they're constantly pushing and updating and everything. Walk Snail to a degree are doing that as well. So if I wasn't going to go with HD0, it'd probably be Walk Snail.
Yeah.
But then you get the O3 air unit of DJI, and it's like, oh, that is so good. But I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
But to tell you the truth, the only HD I've ever actually flown is the Avata with you.
Yeah, that's true.
Which that was an experience, considering you fly mode 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it looks nice. I won't lie, it looks amazing. And it would be amazing to have that in your goggles, but I don't know, at the end of the day, you'd get used to it.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be that different to analog once you're used to it.
That's what I'm thinking sometimes.
Yeah, look, I can probably see more sticks in the trees, so, fly through trees a bit better.
Yeah.
Without getting caught up. But I don't think that's really... Yeah, it comes from the quality, but you're not going to realise, if you know what I mean. You're just going to adapt.
Yeah.
It's like when you get a nice big TV, it's like, oh, this is huge, and then 2 weeks later, it's normal.
Yes, that's very true. That's a good point. Yeah.
So, yeah, and the other thing with HD is it's just so much more expensive.
It is.
Flying analog is so cheap.
Yeah.
Especially when people give you their old stuff.
Yeah. It is expensive. But if you ever switch, I will try to buy exactly the same thing so that we can keep watching each other. Because
I think your other friend, he flies HD0, doesn't he?
Yes,
You're
so
the other guy you fly with regularly.
Yeah, I can't watch him because he
not
had
at the moment.
not at the moment. Yeah, because he had 2 drones, and there was one I could still watch, and then I don't know what happened to it. I think there was definitely like a crash involved. I don't remember exactly what happened. But yeah, then the HD0, I can just watch him line of sight, which is fun too. I like watching
line of sight is fun. Yeah.
But sometimes it's nice to see, like when you're flying, I put my goggles on and I can do both, so I agree with you. And we didn't talk about this in the series, like how it had a bit fragmented sessions when you try to socialize and stuff like that. There's some people you cannot watch. And some people you can watch.
and that definitely has happened to me. I remember I was flying with some friends once. They were on DJI, and I would have loved to have watched what they were doing. One of the guys, we just met up with him randomly. This was at Bundoora Park, which a lot of drone pilots fly at.
Yeah.
So we went there, and there were some other pilots there, and I would have loved to see what this guy was doing. He was really good. Unfortunately, wasn't able to. So... just had to watch line of sight. We were chasing my friend's RC car, which was the first time I'd chased anything.
Nice.
So that was fun. I probably should have flown the 250 rather than the Marmot because I was just sliding through. As soon as you turn around and come the other way, I'm like way off in the distance.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. How big was the RC car? Like, what was it?
About that big, yeah. About a foot.
Yeah.
Foot long, yeah.
Foot long.
Yeah, something about that, yeah.
Yeah, so it makes it hard.
It definitely does. I've since followed one of my friends on grass, and I was flying my remix clone for that because my Marmot was down. Look, I dropped my angle right down, and that made a big difference.
Yeah.
As you can imagine.
Yeah.
He was driving a lot slower, so I was able to keep up a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but yeah, that was good fun. I do enjoy chasing. I want to chase some real cars one day.
Yeah. We should try to get this organized with drift cars if we can.
Yeah.
We'll
Well,
we'll see if we can do it.
My missus keeps saying, "Oh, talk to Noelle. I want to go in that drift car."
Okay, no worries. There was an event I think on Friday, but Sean wasn't driving. But if he ever drives somewhere, or even if his friends are driving and she can just hop on it. When it's just one evening, it's always hard. But if I hear about a weekend in colder parts,
weekend or a daytime one,
because you have more options on when to show up, and and then you can bring your daughter, and she can have those big earmuffs. Like, it's so cute when they wear the noise cancelling. Yeah. Yes. No problem. We'll do that. And there's always people chasing drones there, but we are civilized and we will take turn, and I'm sure it will work out. And
I should have my GoPro replacement by then.
Yeah. Well, how's that going?
People that don't know, I managed to hit a metal pole on a bridge.
Yeah.
And didn't do any damage to the drone whatsoever. This was a 7-inch, but absolutely totaled the GoPro.
Yeah.
This was back in about February, I think.
Yes, I think it was. I don't know if I can share, because there's the video. No, I can't share it. But if we describe what happened, it was such a understandable mistake. So, because there was like a pattern in that bridge of triangles.
There was, and then there was a vertical, and I smacked into that, and I think I tried to dodge it, and then there was a square plate that holds all the bits together.
Yeah, and that's what
I think I must have smacked the corner or something.
Yeah,
and it's pushed the GoPro back into the batteries, so it smashed the back screen of the GoPro and the front of it, and I tried turning the GoPro on, and the battery was getting hot, and I'm like, that's not good.
No.
So, I haven't tried turning it into a naked GoPro yet, so
maybe you can try
to do that. But so just waiting to do my tax return, and then buy a replacement of that. I'm probably thinking the 11 Mini.
Okay,
because at the end of the day, do we need a screen on the back? Not really.
Not really. And it makes them more fragile, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, and it's just that little bit lighter, even though it's still a very heavy camera.
Yeah.
Every gram helps.
Yeah, very true. And it's probably it's the best replacement from when we had sessions. Have you ever had GoPro sessions, or you started?
I had a Session 4.
Yeah.
The Session 5 was out when I started, but I just had the Session 4.
Yeah.
But I started with the Runcam 3S or whatever, which was similar form factor.
Yeah.
Just because I knew I'd be crashing and I didn't want to kill my expensive GoPro.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I ended up putting the Session on my other drones. I was flying the Session on my Marmot for a while until I got the big GoPro.
Yeah.
And that's when I had to change props as well. It was just so heavy, so much heavier than the Session.
Yeah.
To be honest, by the time you compare the Marmot to my 7-inch, the 7-inch isn't that much heavier.
Yeah.
Because the GoPro is just so much of that weight.
I remember the day after you broke your GoPro and we kept flying, and you were like, "Oh my God, this is so good when there's no GoPro." You were just, you felt free.
So light.
Yeah. I agree. It's a good feeling, and it feels like it's how the drone also is supposed to fly. And I wonder if it's because of the gravity center. I don't know if it's called center of gravity.
Yeah.
Sorry, my French translated. But because it's weight at the front, it doesn't really. I wonder.
There is that, but we do balance it out with our batteries to a degree.
That's true.
As well.
Yeah. So I wonder.
I think it's just the overall weight.
Yeah. Okay.
It's good for flinging. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of crashes, you mentioned that you broke something and it was GPS related. I want to know what all of this.
Yeah, so I've been playing around with the new Betaflight. I'm not on the very latest. I'm on the previous one. And I thought, I'll try out the return to home, but there's actually a bug in that version that'll sometimes disarm when you're like 3 or 4 meters up in the air.
Great.
And like whenever I tested it over grass, it landed perfect every time. Whenever I tested it over concrete, it crashed every time. So repeated crashes, it ended up breaking that bottom plate.
Yeah.
But look, apart from that, I must say that new Return to Home is so good.
Yes. Yeah.
Just watching it come down and land.
Yeah.
It's something special.
I feel like it would be a bit eerie to see one of our drones coming back on its own.
It really is. It's really strange. And the way it does it as well, it's kind of throttles up and throttles down, because your set point's not exactly perfect of where it is. Apparently, they've actually cleaned a lot of that up in the latest as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't sort of pump the throttle as much, but it's just weird hearing it come down, pumping the throttle and just watching it sort of slowly come down out of the sky and then land on the ground and then disarm. It's just, it's really weird.
Yeah. So how does it work? Like, could you still add throttle, or can you explain a little bit?
As soon as you touch the controls, you're back in control.
Okay.
So it'll disable the Return to Home.
Yes.
Unless you're on a switch. I think if you're on a switch, it'll just stay doing what it was doing, which is what I was doing at that time. But if it's, from a fail-safe, I think it'll just do, until, like, when it comes back in, as soon as you start touching the controls, you're back in control.
Yes, okay.
That's always been the case anyway.
Yeah.
It's just the new one is a lot nicer in the way it does its Return to Home.
Yeah. Do you know what the bug was coming from, or is coming from? If it's
I think it's related to how it works out your height, and the smoothing and averaging it does based on the GPS.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I've heard it's fixed. I haven't tried it.
Do it above grass.
Yeah, but it works every time above grass.
Why is it like this?
It's always the way, isn't it? Murphy's Law.
Yes. So the first time, what happened? You just saw the drone coming back? and
Yeah. You see it come back, and then you see it's coming down like normal.
Yeah.
And you expect it to keep going, but a few meters up, it just disarms and drops.
Oh, my God.
And the first time it happened, I'm like, oh, no, what's going on? What have I configured wrong? But, yeah, like, I just remember, I think it was Bardwell in one of his videos saying, there's a bug that will disarm. It was just an offhand comment that he made in one of his videos. It wasn't even a full-on one. So it's just, I happened to watch it, and it's like, oh, okay.
That's what happened. Oh, wow.
Yep.
So, is it easy to configure, though, in Betaflight?
Yeah, look, to be honest, especially GPS. When I had the compass, that was a bit of a pain, but the GPS itself, that is super easy to configure.
Yeah.
You just solder it up on a UART, and you just select it in Betaflight.
Yeah.
And then I think there's just a toggle saying GPS.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all you have to do. If you've got one of the older GPSs, like one of the M7 GPSs, Oscar Liang, that website, he's got a tutorial on how to make it better and how to make it pick up more satellites.
Okay.
It's worth going through that. It also increases the baud rate, so you get more frequent updates. Definitely worth doing that, considering it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
The newer ones, you don't need to do that with. And I think not in the current Betaflight, but the next one that they're bringing out is going to make it even better. Because it'll actually send better settings to it when you turn on to make it pick up all these extra satellites. But the units themselves have more channels to pick up satellites anyway, and they lock a lot quicker and all of that. So, yeah, look, if you're buying a GPS now, get one of the new ones. Like the new generation ones. Are they M8, M10? I can't remember, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I've got a tiny little Flywoo one there. It's probably about a centimetre in size. It's absolutely tiny. I'm going to put it on one of my 5 inches, just for the pure reason so I can watch my speed.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I didn't know how small they had become because, I haven't changed
I can't believe how tiny they are.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it out, but, reports are good. So yeah, I've just got to work out a mount and where I'm going to mount it and how and everything. And there's not many designs up on Thingiverse or printables or anything for it yet. I did see one, so I might slice it apart and remix it onto something else, so I can use it. But we'll have a bit of a play. And then, I'll put the remix up for everyone else to download. I did the same thing with the Insta360 Go mount, which looks absolutely ridiculous on my 7-inch. This tiny little camera on the big 7-inch. But look, it works well. I took the official one, the official GoPro mount, sliced off the bottom of it, took the 250 one that I had because that was the only one I found that I liked, because it just slides in sideways quite nicely.
Yeah.
So I just sliced the top off that, put them together, and worked great. Threw it up on Thingiverse. I haven't done it for the Evo yet. I've done the mount. I just haven't thrown it up on Thingiverse. Must do that today.
You even printed something for this podcast recording. Like you literally printed the mount for.
Yes, yeah, I was printing a mount for my phone to use the continuity camera.
Yes.
It was a half-hour print. I'm like, oh yeah, that'll be convenient.
It's
I'll
so
do that.
convenient.
And I still ran a few minutes late, didn't I?
That's okay. Me too, because I had to make coffee.
Yep.
Well, it was an interesting talk, and to conclude around the GPS thing, that I was thinking that it's actually, now that it's so small and easy to set up, it should just be a default component, like you have.
Look, I agree.
Yeah,
it's so simple to set up. We should just put it on them all. Unfortunately, we may be forced to if we want to follow laws.
Yeah,
that's a big if.
Yes.
Given remote ID needs GPS coordinates and everything. So, we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah,
I think it's ridiculous. I think there should be an exception for home-built drones, because without it, you're putting it, well, for starters, an unnecessary burden, but also it's like, well, it's not going to stop anything. Anyone that's going to do anything nefarious is not going to put it on.
Yeah,
and you're stifling innovation. You're stifling kids, even at schools, just wanting to build this stuff. This is great for STEM, and then you're having to force them to do this. It's like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yes. What did you think of when we said maybe we should classify the airspace, the G airspace again?
Yeah, look, it would suit us. I don't think we should, because that's our airspace. Why are you taking it off us? Like planes fly above that, helicopters fly above that. The only thing is like Bot suggested, was surveillance. And do we want that? No, we
not
don't.
really. And helicopters, the rule, at least in Australia, is if you sight a helicopter, you have to land. So I don't understand why we're a threat, but
we're not. We're not.
Yeah.
Like there has never been any deaths worldwide from the recreational use of a multi-rotor drone. Why are they restricting us? Like, do they restrict soccer balls? No. I'm sure there's been plenty of deaths from soccer balls hitting people in the head.
Or even just the terrifying 3D helis, the RC.
They're scary.
There's been death. Like, it's people have died, so I've seen one fly not close. It was safe, and the guy was like a state champion, so I trusted him. But I was like, why do people want to fly these things?
Yeah, I was watching one day and I'm like, that just scares me.
Yeah. There was a video, I don't remember where I saw it. I hope I didn't dream it. I'm pretty sure it's true. A judge at a competition was holding his his notes, and it had like a cardboard or plastic or maybe metal thing to hold the paper. And the guy who was competing with that 3D helis, it was not one of the big one, it was still decent size but not big. I think the prop touched the ground a bit, and then it flew towards the judge, and he had the time to put his thing while the guy disarmed, so it's a combination of the pilot disarming and him having his notes protecting him, but you're like, Jesus Christ, it's terrifying.
God, we're gonna have to fly this at race car tracks with all those metal fences that they've got to stop the Formula One cars.
Yeah, it should be like this. All of this to say that I don't think we would be the highest threat. And also, if you were worried of things, being a bit uncontrolled and doing long range or whatever, wings have been doing that for ages as well. So
exactly,
it's confusing, but because people were like, oh yeah, but for drones, you can take off from anywhere, but with a wing you can literally launch it. It's not like the RC planes when you need a lane, like a takeoff.
Yeah, well, you see some of the TBS videos, they've taken them out to 60 k's or something. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous how far they can fly.
So it's just strange, but
there's got to be money involved.
Yeah,
that's the only conclusion I can come to.
Yeah.
Whether it be money from the news companies trying to just like get everyone riled up as they do.
Yeah.
Or if it's money coming from Google and Amazon doing something that's never actually going to be viable.
Yeah.
Or what it is. Who knows?
Yeah. Or maybe the states, without getting conspiracy theories, but governments have ideas of how they would like to use the airspace. So yeah. But I still think that if I had a GPS in my drone, I would be already less scared of like losing video on, and then
well, that's the thing. It takes away a lot of that scariness.
Yeah.
Once you've tested it.
Yeah.
It still is scary. You still get the sweaty palms, and the shakes. But look, it does give you a little bit of peace of mind.
Yes. So in terms of what's coming for you next, you said maybe a toothpick. Is there anything else you would like to do in this hobby in the short term, long term?
I want to try all the things. I think we were talking the other day. Let's start an X-Class league.
I like how we just got like pumped on a work day. We're like looking at frames and batteries. And
Obviously, I was busy that day.
It was lunchtime, I think, and we were sharing photos, and that would be awesome, though.
Yeah, look, I'd love to fly an X-Class just for the fun of it, or a Beast Class or something, with those 12-inch props, I think they are. It's 12, 13, whatever it is.
How much do you think, because we didn't have time to really text that day because we were busy, but how much do you think it would cost to find someone who can cut the frame instead of trying to buy one of these crazy frames?
I have no idea. I've never really looked at the prices. But
because I thought, what if you find a local supplier who can cut carbon fiber?
The frame's only a small part of the cost at the end of the day.
The motors,
the motors, the propellers, everything expensive. Look, you're starting at 3 times the cost from my 5 minutes of research. It's the only thing that costs about the same would be the flight controller and the camera. Everything. You got to get more expensive ESCs. You got to get more expensive motors, more expensive props, more expensive frame. Huge batteries. Or sets of batteries. It seems like you run dual 4S batteries or dual 6S batteries. It just looks pretty crazy.
It's like in that video I sent you, and the battery, Zorro was using it like as much as it was a phone. And I remember what he said. I didn't put it in the video at the time. So for people who don't know what I'm talking about, it's a video I filmed in the US with Zoe FPV and Zorro, and Zoe was racing at a X-Class race. And we were looking at everybody's equipment, and there was someone who showed us his giant CNHL battery. And so Zorro took it and was like, oh, hello, Chad Capper. You want to talk to Onigiri? Okay. And he passed it to me, and I was like, hello. But it did look like a big break, and also,
it looks like the old brick phones.
Yeah, it does. But even the weight of that, I remember, is ridiculous. It's So
well, even the what are they, 1850 batteries that I'm running on my 7-inch are heavy enough.
Yeah. That was this weight, and also even if we were going to build one maybe we should build one together and we share it. But where would we fly it?
At the park. We've got a lovely track there. We'll just follow the track.
We chop some trees. We trim them.
No, it's all right. We're doing on the service.
I could spot you, so it would be safe. And we put the GPS on it. It just comes back.
We'd have to put one of those tiny little GPSs on it just because it's funny.
Yeah, it would be ridiculous. And then you put your Insta...
Insta 360 go.
Yes. Oh, well, that's still a cool project that we should, keep in our mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, that was
maybe a few of us can chip in some money.
Yeah. Maybe I ask friends and we just all come together. Maybe 4 people building a X class would start being affordable. But then we have to agree on what equipment we want to put on. I'm pretty easy though.
Yeah, but we're going to do analog or digital? That's the question.
Oh, that's exactly the fragmentation.
Exactly.
Actually, you know what? My DJI goggles, they can do both analog and because I have the module to convert them to analog, so it could be. But then it means we have to convince people to do DJI, and I don't think it. I don't think so. Damn it, we'll find a way. That was a great episode. What do you think?
Yeah.
I had fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for the audience, it's literally what happens when we meet with Sam. We talk about heaps of things and maybe less technical.
Yeah. More photography last time it was.
Yeah, when we get technical, it's more about photography. Maybe we can finish on this if you want to plug a little bit what you do, whether it's FPV or photography. If you want to
look. Yeah, well, they're my 2 big hobbies, is FPV and photography. And photography, I tend to take photos of a lot of girls not wearing much.
That's a good summary.
So don't Google me while you're at work.
Even when you send me, updates on your photo shoots, I'm like, I'm not opening this here. I have to wait.
Yeah. I try to be mindful that it's like, is it during work hours?
Yes. So it's your other hobby and you've just went back into it, so that's great news.
I've had a couple of years off because obviously daughter, looking after her and all of that. So
pandemic
as well, and trying to keep her safe, because obviously being so young, she can't be vaccinated. Although I think she can now, but
better to wait. Yeah.
But look, so a couple of years off, keeping the family safe, but I'm starting to get back into it, which is good. I'm shooting with some of my favorite people, which is really good.
That's great. And so I know you've already made a photography book before that's available on your website.
Yeah. It's just something that I did, print on demand things. So it's pretty expensive, but look, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
The models are happy with it. I think I sold maybe 15 copies or something, not many, but and I'm only making a couple of dollars per sale. But look, it wasn't about making money from it anyway. It was just to have a project, have a goal, put something together. So when we catch up next time, I'll have to bring it along, as long as it's not a big public place.
But people would say that it's still artistic, and
it is.
And I was going to say, photography these days is so digital. I feel like a book of what you've created is a nice thing to have, a hard copy.
It really is. Print your photos out. Like having a physical copy, it's just another level. It looks so much better, and just having that tactile experience, just print your photos.
I agree. Yes. Do you think you will work on another project like that eventually?
Yeah, look, I was working on one. It was a series in the shower. And I did quite a number of shoots, and then I was thinking of putting a book together of what I had, but am I going to shoot some more? I don't know. We'll see.
Yes.
So look, I might put something together. I might update some of the photos. I might keep some. We'll just see where it goes. I'm still just shooting with the people that I shoot with a lot.
Yeah.
At the moment, so I've already done their shoots.
Yes.
For it. So we'll just just see where it takes me. I just do it for fun.
Yeah, that's important.
I'm not trying to make money. Like I did used to make a little bit of money, selling shots for portfolios and stuff. But look, to be honest, it takes a lot of the fun out of it because, the pressure's on then. You have to perform, and then you get clients that don't want to pay or, just doing shady things. Let's just avoid that.
Yeah. It can stress you out, and then it blocks your creative energy. And
and then, I know legally I could put them in my portfolio, but I feel bad putting a shot in my portfolio that someone's paid for.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and there were some beautiful photos that I'll never share around. So, only a handful of people will see those photos. And that as well, that's hard, I know with your friend that's in the video special effects industry, he's got all this work that he can't put out, and it's hard.
Yeah.
And it's the same, I've got all this work that, I can only show a couple of people. I can't put it out there publicly. It's hard, you want to show it off, you're proud of it.
Yeah.
You want to show everyone.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Well, I hope you at least keep going, like you just freshly back into it, and it looked amazing. So if people want to find your website, what website? What is it?
Okay, so like I said, don't look it up at work, but it's sdphoto.com.au. That'll get you there to my basic portfolio. If you look up JazzXP on YouTube, that'll get you to my drone stuff.
Yeah.
Or JazzFPV2 on Instagram.
Yes.
Or JazzXP on Instagram if you just want my general photography stuff.
Yeah.
They're sort of the places you can find me online.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And don't look at work or next to your partner.
Definitely not safe for work. Well, it depends if your partner is okay. Yeah, my partner likes my work. So
okay. Or just do a warning, and you can I'm not a perv, but
what are you saying about me?
No, I have a friend, actually, fun fact, I won't say who it is or anything like that, but she was looking for her own lingerie stuff, and her partner is a female, and so her partner came just in a lounge while she was looking online, and it was very artistic photo because it was high end. Yep. And her partner was like, "What are you looking at?" And she's like, "No, I'm shopping. I'm shopping for me. It's just a good store." So, you never know. Just warnings. But yeah, thanks.
It's research.
It's research. I'm just looking at the lighting on Sam's photo. That's all I'm doing. I'm studying the light and... No, but seriously though, you have lots of artistic way of shooting the models. Yes, it's a lot of people without not a lot of clothes, but it's still in a very artistic way.
Yeah, and I try to, some people wouldn't agree that I'm walking this line, but I try to keep it artistic.
Yeah.
I try to make look. My number one goal is to make the models feel good about themselves.
Yes.
There is nothing better than, getting a report saying, "Oh, I was feeling bad about myself, but your photos have just made me feel amazing."
Yeah.
That is the best feeling in the world.
Yes.
It's like hitting that gap.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's my goal, is just to make people feel good about themselves, and if I can share that and have other people enjoy the photos as well, that's good. To me, the actual photo shoot itself is the best bit. The photos at the end are just a bonus. Just having that commonality, being able to talk to someone and sort of create something that looks good.
Yeah.
That's the real fun.
Yeah.
Having the photos at the end. Yeah, that's a bonus.
Interesting. I think you never told me that, and I like it. I didn't know, but that's great.
And when it comes to editing as well, I like to make the person as you would see them rather than as the camera would see them. So, like, if you're looking at someone, you might not notice a bit of redness in their face, or that little pimple, or that little fold or anything. So I'll get rid of that, but I won't make someone look 20 kilos lighter or something, because that's not who they are.
Yeah.
I'll smooth the skin, but that's how I see someone,
Yeah, in real life, your brain processes things different than on a still image. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Cool. Well, if you're interested into Sam's work, whether it's all the drone footage or all the model photos, just have a look. Thanks for coming today. I had a really good time.
Yeah, definitely. I loved it.
We'll do that again, maybe on another topic.
Yes, for sure.
I always have ideas, so I'll present them to you and you'll be like, oh yeah, okay, let's do that. And thanks everyone for watching on YouTube and for listening. If you like this podcast, give us some ratings, give us some thumbs up, share it with friends, family. That really helps us a lot. We're growing slowly but surely. We're getting bigger and bigger, which is good. And we are on Instagram, Onigiri & Co. I'm on Instagram, Onigiri FPV. We just plugged Sam's ones as well, Jazz XP and Jazz FPV 2. That's pretty much it. We will
Patreon.
Our Patreon. This is why I don't have Patron. Sam is my only patron. Thanks so much, Sam. And you reminded me. I have a Patreon. If you want, I have different tiers, but I don't remember if I removed them. But the $2 tier at the moment, we're earning $2 thanks to Sam. And Patreon actually helps me bringing videos to you guys because everything I use is not free. So if you want to at least help me pay for the video system, that would be amazing. If you can't, because times are hard, you can just share the podcast. So I understand if you can. But thanks again, Sam, for helping me. So thanks, everybody. And I wish you some happy flying, and we'll see you in another fortnight. Bye.
Bye.